Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Mona's English Studio. I'm Mona.
And I'm Noah. Hi, everyone. We are so happy to have you here today.
Yes, today we have a very exciting topic. We are going to talk about real British English you don't learn in books.
That's right. So, Mona, I know a lot of people learn English from textbooks, like grammar rules, vocabulary lists, and polite sentences.
Yes, exactly. And those books are useful. But sometimes real people in Britain don't speak like that. They use slang, idioms, and expressions that you don't find in books.
Exactly. And if you only learn from books, sometimes when you meet a British person, you might not understand them.
Yes. So today, we are going to share some of these phrases, words, and ways of speaking that are very British and very natural.
Perfect. So, let's start with something simple. One of the first things you notice in British English is how people greet each other.
Oh, yes. In books, they often teach, hello, how are you? Or good morning. But in real life, people often say things like, all right?
Yes, and that doesn't actually mean they want a long answer. It's just a greeting.
Exactly. So if someone says, all right, you can just say, all right, or, yeah, good.
Or sometimes they say, "You all right?" And again, you don't need to explain your life story. Just a simple, "Yeah, you" works perfectly.
Very true. That's a good tip. So, tip number 1. In Britain, greetings can be short and casual.
Another thing is shortening words. British people love shortening words. For example, instead of saying television, they say telly.
Yes. Or breakfast becomes brekkie, and sandwich becomes sarnie.
Oh, I love that one.
So British English is very playful. They like to make words shorter and easier to say.
Absolutely. And it makes English sound more natural and friendly.
Yes. And speaking of friendly, let's talk about polite expressions that sound casual.
That's interesting. Can you give an example?
Sure. In books, they teach please and thank you. And yes, these are correct. But British people often use other ways to be polite.
Like what?
Well, instead of thank you, they sometimes say cheers.
Oh, yes. That one can confuse people. In some countries, cheers only means drinking. But in Britain, it's like saying thanks.
Exactly. And also, sometimes, they say sorry, even when it's not their fault.
Yes, I've noticed that. If someone bumps into you, they say, "Oh, sorry." But sometimes they even say it to interrupt someone politely.
Yes, British people use sorry a lot. It's part of being polite.
That's really interesting. So, tip number 2. British people can be very polite in casual situations, sometimes in surprising ways.
Exactly. Now, let's move on to slang words. Slang is something you will never find in books, but it's used every day.
Yes, I think slang is one of the most fun parts of real British English.
Totally. For example, if something is very good or cool, British people sometimes say brilliant.
Oh, yes. And that's different from very good. It's stronger and sounds very natural.
Another one is knackered.
Ah, I love that word. It means very tired, right?
Yes. So if you've worked all day, you can say, I'm knackered.
And everyone will understand you immediately. It's very British.
Then there's gutted. This one is about feeling very sad or disappointed.
Yes. For example, If your team loses a football match, you can say, I'm gutted.
Exactly. And it's much more casual than saying, I am very disappointed.
Another interesting slang is chuffed.
Oh, yes. That means you are very pleased or proud of something.
So, if you passed an exam, you can say, I'm really chuffed.
British people love to use these little words to show feelings naturally.
That's right, and there are many more. But we can't say all today. Maybe in the next episode.
Yes, we'll make a part 2 soon. But now, let's talk about idioms and phrases. These are also something you don't learn in books.
Oh, I like idioms. Can you give some examples?
Sure. One common phrase is, it's not my cup of tea.
Oh, yes. That means you don't like something, right?
Exactly. For example, I don't like football. It's not my cup of tea.
That's a very British way to say it politely.
Another one is, I'm over the moon.
Ah, that means you are very happy.
Yes. So if something great happens, like you get a new job, you can say, I'm over the moon.
These idioms make English more colourful and expressive.
Exactly. And British English has so many small words and phrases that you hear all the time, but never in books.
For example, when someone says, fancy a cuppa?
Yes, that means, do you want a cup of tea?
And you'll hear that a lot in Britain. It's very friendly and casual.
Or another one, I'll give you a bell.
That's a tricky one. That means I will call you on the phone, right?
Yes. So in Britain, bell can mean a phone call sometimes.
Wow, that's so interesting. These are the things you won't usually see in textbooks.
Yes. And now let's talk about humour, because humour is very British and also part of the language.
Oh, yes. British humour is sometimes sarcastic, very dry.
Exactly. For example, if it's raining outside and someone says, lovely weather today, isn't it?
Laughs. That's sarcasm. You know it's not lovely weather at all.
Yes. British people often joke in this way. And sometimes, if you don't understand, you might get confused.
That's true. So tip number 3. British people often use humour in everyday conversations, even about small things.
And it's usually subtle. They don't laugh loudly. It's often just a small smile or a quiet joke.
So, if you want to sound natural, you need to notice the tone and context, not just the words.
Very true. Another fun thing is rhyming slang, especially in London.
Oh yes, I've heard about that. Can you explain?
Sure. Cockney rhyming slang is when people replace a word with a phrase that rhymes. For example, instead of saying stairs, they might say apples and pears.
Really? So instead of go up the stairs, they say go up the apples and pears.
Exactly. And sometimes they just say the first word, apples.
Wow, that's so tricky for learners.
Yes, but it's fun, and it shows how playful British English can be.
I love that. So British English is polite, playful, expressive, and full of surprises.
Exactly. And these little things make English feel alive and real.
And remember, the best way to learn these is by listening to native speakers, watching British shows, or talking to British people.
Yes, books are important, but real English is more than grammar and vocabulary.
So true. And before we finish this first part, let's share a few small daily expressions you can start using today.
Great idea. Number 1. I reckon.
Ah, yes. That means I think. For example, I reckon it will rain today.
Number 2. Ta.
That's a very casual way to say thank you.
Number 3. Mate.
Oh, yes. That means friend. For example, how are you, mate?
And number 4. Blimey.
Laughs. That's an exclamation of surprise. For example, blimey, that's amazing.
And number 5, give us a shout.
That means contact me. For example, if you need help, give us a shout.
See, these are all very simple, but they sound very British.
Yes, and if you practice them, your English will sound more natural immediately.
That's right. And in the next episode, we will share more slang, idioms, and tricky expressions.
Perfect. We'll also talk about British pronunciation tips, so you can sound more like a native speaker.
Yes, and maybe even some funny British jokes.
That sounds exciting.
So, to our listeners, thank you for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed learning about real British English you don't learn in books.
And remember, don't just read. Listen, repeat, and practice. That's the best way to improve.
That's it for today's episode of Mona's English Studio. We hope you had fun and learned some real British English you won't find in books.
Yes. Remember, the key is to listen, repeat, and use these expressions in your daily life. That's how you get better and sound more natural.
And don't forget to subscribe to Mona's English Studio so you never miss an episode.
That's right. Hit the subscribe button now and join us for more slang, idioms, and funny British expressions in our next episode.
If you enjoyed today's episode, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends who want to learn English the fun way.
Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone. Keep practicing and have a great day.